And welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Anthony Momodu. We would like to remind you that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365. The Federal Capital Territory has witnessed a surge in vehicular movement on the seventh day of the nationwide protest, indicating a gradual return to normalcy. Edikan Michael, who monitored the situation, tells us.
From the popular Wuse Market, despite the increased vehicular movement, motorists, speedy traders who relied on government workers for patronage were left waiting as businesses remained slow.
The protest I don't see anything where they change self. They say federal government say make they come dialogue. If they fit dialogue, it's good. We love him. He's our father. He's our grandfather. We love him, but he should let us dialogue so everything can come down. Things are too expensive.
There's no business that have not had a shaking up. This starting from that very day one on Thursday, it was 2 kiosks for everybody in the market running helter-skelter. Very bad for business these days, but I pray that God should strengthen the minds of Nigerians.
Since last week we have been suffering. Even my children are hungry at home now. We go suffer to buy fuel, suffer to look for passenger. This Nigerian done too much. This is not too much. Nobody will die for street before they know so we're hungry. May they help us. Because we talk, they say may they no protest. Now we know they protest again, but may them give us what you go eat. We are hungry.
Our president, if he say come out, or the National Assembly come out and talk better thing for us. They just fight for their own pocket. They are not after for masses.
The protest is not for trouble, but we are just crying for help. If he can really help, let him come to our rescue. Let him help us. We are tired. Some of us don't even know where to go to. We don't.
There have been a very significant impact on the lives of the people here at the Federal Capital Territory, which many says they are struggling to survive. However, they are advising that the government will look beyond the chaos caused by some looters in the course of the protest and address the demands of the protesters, which should be paramount and priority for the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Edikan Michael, Global TV News.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says the Tinubu administration's primary goal is to rectify historical missteps and not impose hardship on Nigerians. Speaking in Abuja during a briefing for the diplomatic community on recent nationwide protests, Idris stressed that the president is committed to implementing reforms aimed at driving sustainable growth and improving citizens' quality of life. The minister, acknowledging the current hardship, noted that the administration's decisive actions, including the painful abolition of the fuel subsidy, were aimed at redirecting funds towards critical sectors like healthcare, education, infrastructure, and security. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, has reiterated Nigeria's stance against foreign interference in its domestic affairs. Tugar, who made this known at the briefing of the members of the diplomatic corps on the program and policies of the federal government in Abuja, however, stressed the importance of international relationships. He spoke against the backdrop of the nationwide #EndBadGovernance in Nigeria protest, which commenced on Thursday, August 1st, in response to the hardship experienced by citizens in the country. Paul Ibe, media aide to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, has berated the presidency over its reaction to Atiku's statement on the use of lethal force. Ibe said the recent admission by the military to mistakenly killing a 16-year-old boy in Zaria, Kaduna State, was exactly what his principal had alluded to in his statement. Speaking against the backdrop of the ongoing #EndBadGovernance protest across the country and efforts by security agencies to stop the protests, especially in areas where the situations had turned violent, Atiku said the service chiefs could be held accountable even after leaving office. The presidency has told former Vice President Atiku Abubakar that the rights of assembly and freedom of expression guaranteed to citizens in the Constitution are not absolute. In a statement, the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, while reacting to a post Atiku made on X, said the rights of citizens can be abridged in the interest of public peace. Atiku had a post cautioned security agencies against using against peaceful civilian protesters who are demonstrating against bad governance and leadership in the country. Bello has refuted the claim in certain quarters that he is the sponsors of the ongoing protests across the country. A statement issued Michael was enemies of the former governor. The statement described the claim as reckless, irresponsible, and malicious, adding that the former governor remained who had energy to build a united and prosperous Nigeria. The Northern Youth Assembly has kicked against calls for the relocation of NCC ICT Park from Kano to Kebbi, sequel to attack on the facility by hoodlums during the nationwide protest. A statement by the Dr. Aliyu Muhammad and Garba, Secretary, dismissed the purported move as a calculated deception meant to mislead the good people of Kebbi State. The statement by the Pan-Arua Regional stressed the call for increased investment in Kebbi State as valid and a welcome development. Crucial to consider several factors before thinking of significant. The Nigerian army says the soldier who killed it was reported how one on Zaria gunned down the victim, Ismail, secondary school leaver. And let's go for a quick break. When we return, the news continues. Stay with us. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching the news. The Nigerian army says the soldier who killed a teenage protester in Zaria, Kaduna State has been arrested. It was reported how one of the soldiers on patrol in Samaru Zaria gunned down the victim, Ismail Muhammad, who was a secondary school leaver. Samaru community is a host of hundreds of staff and students of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria. It was gathered that Muhammad was shot dead at his residence at Serikin Power Street. The police in Rivers State says criminal elements have hijacked the hashtag End Bad Governance protest in the state and target motorists and businesses. SP Grace Eringe Koko, the command spokesperson who made this known in Port Harcourt, expressed concern over the situation, adding that measures are being implemented to maintain law and order. Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa has expressed concerns over the recent military-led government changes in West Africa, causing unintended repercussions and jeopardizing democratic values in the region. General Musa was speaking at the 42nd Ordinary Meeting of ECOWAS Committee of Chief of Defense Staff in Abuja. He explained that the threat of military takeover of government must be discouraged. We will bring you more details of this report. All right, let's go for a quick break. When we return, News Cycle continues. Stay with us. Welcome back from the break. The House of Representatives has clarified that there is no rift between the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, and his deputy, Benjamin Kalu, following the dissolution of the ad hoc committee investigating oil theft and the importation of adulterated fuel. In a statement by its spokesperson, Rotimi Akim, the House observed that certain media outlets had speculated about tensions following the committee's dissolution. Akim stressed that the leadership action aimed to ensure the efficacy, independence, and effectiveness of the investigations. Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to paying the 70,000 minimum wage recently approved by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to civil servants in the state. Peter Ehemba, the Senior Special Assistant to Governor Sule on Public Affairs, stated this in Lafia, the state capital, during a courtesy visit to the Nigerian Union of Journalists Correspondent Chapel, Nasarawa State. He said the payment of the new minimum wage to civil servants would not only improve their welfare, but also boost their productivity in the state. The police command in Jigawa says it has arrested 82 additional suspects for looting and vandalism of public property during the nationwide protest. The command spokesman, DSP Lawal Shishu, said in a statement in Dutse that the suspects were arrested on Saturday and Monday. Items recovered from 212 suspects include 303 bags of fertilizer, 50 motorcycles, 3 tricycles, 12 bicycles, 9 chains, 54 cartons of mosquito net, 2 bags, and office furniture. The federal government says plans are on the way for the construction of the Nigerian Creative City, a one-stop hub for talent development and youth empowerment. The Minister of Art, Culture and Creative Economy, Hannatu Musawa, said this in an interview with News Agency of Nigeria in Abuja. Musawa says the project is part of initiatives conceived by the ministry to provide a platform to harness creative opportunities across the country for economic gains. The federal government has announced that the guidelines for the suspension of custom duty and taxes on imported food items are to commence next week. In July, the federal government approved a 150-day duty-free window to allow the importation of maize, husk brown rice, and wheat as part of measures to combat rising food inflation across the country. The initiative was based on the implementation of the Presidential Accelerated and Stabilization Advancement Plan. Speaking at a meeting of heads of security agencies in Abuja, the Comptroller General of Customs, Bashir Adeniyi, said the implementation of the policy would commence once the guidelines are ready. And moving to Plateau State, the Plateau State Governor, Barrister Caleb Mutfwang, has reviewed the 24-hour curfew imposed on Jos Bukuru Metropolis. The 24-hour curfew, which took effect on Monday, August 2nd, has now been relaxed to between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. with effect immediately. This was announced in a statement signed by Gian Bere, the Director of Press and Public Affairs, to Governor Mutfwang. Nigerians residing in America under the aegis of the Nigerians in Diaspora Organization America have called on the National Assembly to ensure that the ongoing constitutional amendments include provisions for diaspora voting. In a statement signed by the NIDWA's chairman, Bukola Olaoye, and Secretary Uche Uzo Igwe, the organization praised Nigerians in Diaspora Commission NIDCOM for successfully hosting the National Diaspora Day 2024 and the second edition of the Diaspora Merit Award. The statement expressed the diaspora committee's eagerness to see the realization of diaspora voting and commended Nigerian parliamentary leaders for their commitment towards this goal. No fewer than 4,877 victims of human trafficking from Nigeria have voluntarily returned to the country since 2017. According to a report by the International Organization for Migration, the victims returned to Nigeria under the IOM's Assisted Voluntary Return and Reintegration Program with women and girls, constituting nearly 88% of the returnees, while men accounted for 13%. The data showed that most victims fall within the age bracket of 18 to 39 years, with those aged 18 to 25 being particularly susceptible to recruitment by traffickers. Within the first quarter of 2024 alone, the IOM said it facilitated the return of 167 victims to Nigeria, and 81% of whom were females. Medical doctors have commenced an indefinite strike in Ogun State over unresolved issues concerning their allowances. It was reported that the industrial action is hinged on the pay disparity between federal and state medical workers. The chairman of the Nigerian Medical Association, Dr. Kunle Ashimi, confirmed the commencement of the strike at a press conference in Abeokuta. According to him, the core of the doctors' grievances lies in the reviewed consolidated medical salary structure, which they believe should be implemented to stem the exodus of medical professionals from their state. You're watching News Cycle coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Cycle returns, federal government spends $600 million on fuel importation monthly. Do stay with us. Welcome back. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of News Cycle. Thank you for staying with us in business. The organizers of the China-Nigeria Expo say it will strengthen trade ties between China and Nigeria. The expo, which is scheduled for November 5th to 8th in Lagos, is said to be the largest gathering of Chinese manufacturers in Nigeria and West Africa region. According to a statement from the organizers, Nigeria is second China's largest trading partner in Africa, and China is the country's largest source of import. Chinese customs data showed that the bilateral trade volume between China and Nigeria reached $23.9 billion in 2022, with China's export to Nigeria amounting to $22.3 billion and imports from Nigeria totaling $1.6 billion. And wrapping up the news, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Wale Edun, has revealed that the country currently spends $600 million on fuel importation monthly. He stated that the high import bill is due to neighboring countries up to Central Africa Republic benefiting from the country's fuel imports. Edun explained that the situation was the reason President Bola Tinubu removed fuel subsidy, as the country does not know the exact amount of fuel consumed internally. And that's how we call it a wrap on News Cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Anthony Momodu. Good evening.